Greetings, fellow Gorehounds, and welcome back to a Blood Splattered vlog. I'm the Horror Guru.
I'm Count Jackula.
And today we're going to talk about Kids vs. Aliens, the second feature film by the director of Hobo with a Shotgun, Jason Eisener. And I know that sounds weird. Second feature film. Hasn't he been doing stuff between Hobo with a Shotgun and this? And it's true, he has. He's been doing a lot of short films in various anthologies. Yeah. And one of those short films was Slumber Party Alien
Abduction
or something like that.
Yeah, in VHS 2.
VHS 2, yeah. And this film's actually a feature-length adaptation of that short, but with a couple major differences. The first major difference being, first off, it's a feature film. The second one being, it's not found footage. This is just a straight-up movie.
Straight-up movie.
Shot the way he shot Hobo with a Shotgun, complete with the awesome 80s retro look. And what I'm pretty sure is either 16mm film or digital grain added to look like 16mm film.
Yes, one of the two.
It's an absolutely gorgeous film. We're talking bright neon colors everywhere, old school cinematography.
Yeah.
Just straight up. It's also really fun. If you've seen Hobo with a Shotgun, you know his penchant for like mixing in really genuine emotional moments with like the goofiest exploitation shit you've ever seen. Yeah. This movie's doing the same, but with a...
You will cry. You watch Hobo with a Shotgun, you will cry over a man crying over the lawnmower.
Exactly. You know? And this movie does the same thing, but in a Goonies-like situation with a group of friends who are also filmmakers who one night aliens start attacking their house while one of their big sisters is throwing a party. They are all kidnapped by the aliens and the big sister must save them from the aliens.
Yeah. One of the things about this movie, and I would say is the movie's main weakness, is this. Apparently, these aliens have just arrived to rape you in the mouth.
Yeah. There is no explanation.
There's no explanation for what they're doing and why.
There is one.
Oh.
One of the kids speculate that they're using humans as fuel, and so they melt them down into fuel.
Okay, but why all this other stuff then?
Who knows?
Okay. Yeah, see,
it's cartoon logic.
What I mean. Yeah. It reminded me a lot of the remake of Invaders from Mars.
Yeah.
Where you're just sort of like, I don't know why the aliens are doing any of this.
Well, the thing is, it's very much operating on Saturday morning cartoon logic. Aliens just do this because they do this.
Yeah.
There's no other reason.
Yeah, and the thing is, if the movie needed them to have an actual motivation, the movie would have failed big time. But the thing is, this movie doesn't need them to have an understandable motivation.
It doesn't. Things that might entice you to check out this movie. So the main characters of this movie, these group of kids, in their spare time, they make these feature films that they film with their shitty camcorders.
Yeah.
That are essentially like fucking space bikers that look like the Road Warriors from wrestling.
Yeah.
Fighting these evil raptor aliens.
Yeah, the dinosaurers.
Yeah, the dinosaurers. Yeah.
Oh no, it's the dinosaur. At that point, I was like, I'm in.
And like the first 15 minutes of this movie is basically us watching one of those films as they're filming it. And it's pretty fucking awesome. You'll watch that, and if you at all used to make films as a kid, you'll be like, oh man, these are after my own heart, man.
Oh yeah.
These kids are awesome.
Yeah. It's hard to explain what makes this movie so great when just watching it will tell you.
Mm-hmm. Another film it reminds me a lot of, because it also kind of operated on very similar logic, Turbo Kid.
Turbo Kid, yes.
The tone and the vibes and the kind of Saturday morning cartoon logic of Turbo Kid.
Yeah.
Very much similar to this.
Terrorvision.
Terrorvision.
That's the other one I was thinking of when I was watching it. Terrorvision.
There you go. I can totally see that.
Yeah.
I can totally see that. If you're a fan of movies like Terrorvision, you'll probably really dig this. Adding to the Saturday morning cartoon vibe of this movie, it also has a human villain on top of the aliens. And the human villain is the sister's boyfriend.
Yeah.
Who is the most cartoon bully to end cartoon bullies. He's a mixture of the most gaslighting, abusive boyfriend you've ever seen and every school bully you've ever seen in an 80s movie.
Oh yeah.
He's all of them put into a blender to the point where he just shows up on screen and you're like, I hate you.
Yeah. You hate him immediately and then he continues to be hateable.
He just gets worse.
To the point where actually, I love the fact... I don't know why, but the fact that the movie was like, all right, so what can we have this guy do just so everyone just knows he's the bad guy?
Yeah.
So everyone just knows he's a prick. So what they have him do, on top of everything else, by the way, because he does a lot, is piss in the girl's room while fucking another girl. And I was like, yeah, that'll do.
Yeah, it's just like he's like cartoonishly shitty.
Yeah, he's cartoonishly an asshole.
It's kind of great. But it fits with the tone of this movie because this movie very much has a heightened cartoon vibe to it. And if you can roll with that, you're going to have a blast. This movie,
did you like Psycho Gorman? You're probably going to love this movie.
This movie has the balls to also do shit that you don't expect out of a movie like this that we'll talk more about in the spoiler section because those are some hardcore spoilers.
Yeah. That's actual plot spoilers.
Hardcore spoilers. This movie also features a ton of really awesome gore effects, much like Hobo with a Shotgun, much like Turbo Kid. This movie goes buck wild with the gore, especially the moment they end up inside the alien spaceship. And we get to see the aliens do their alien things, whether or not we even understand why they're doing it.
The thing I loved is the fact that the alien spacecraft is like a giant skull that looks like fucking Castle Grayskull or something. Like, they didn't even try to make it look real. It's just sort of like, look, we made a toy, we put glow paint on it, that's the ship. Got it? No, perfect. Don't change a thing.
A movie it also kind of reminded me of a little bit is like Night of the Comet.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. You're like, what? You know, like some of the weird turns that movie takes.
And here's the thing. If you're the kind of person who doesn't like Goonies style stories, because typically in those stories, the sister characters are usually the one girl in the entire story and they're always sidelined, then this is the movie for you.
This is the movie for you.
Because
she's not sidelined.
Because this
she's
movie,
the main character.
Yeah, she's 100% the main character and she is largely the one saving the boys. Like, we're talking like just badass taking on aliens by herself to save her little brother and his goofy ass friends.
Yeah, and she's like just obsessed with barbarian movies and wrestling.
Yes.
You know?
It's great. There's some Red Sonja vibes.
Oh, yeah.
With her.
Yeah. There's a moment where she is aboard the ship and she pulls a sword out of a knight in armor. Yeah. And I'm like, wait, is that sword supposed to be just Excalibur?
Yeah. Or the fucking like He-Man sword or something.
Yeah. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's right. If you want to see a movie in which a teenage girl with a fucking sword fights a bunch of aliens, this is the movie for you.
Gotta watch it.
Anyway, my fellow Gorehounds, we're now creeping closer and closer to spoilers, so we might as well move on to it. Kids vs. Aliens is available on various streaming platforms to rent or buy. Trust me, seek out this movie, support Kids vs. Aliens. I want them to make more of this movie because there's some fucking sequel teases in this movie.
They could totally make more of these.
And with that said, my fellow Gorehounds, let us move on to the spoilers. So there really isn't too much to spoil in this movie. Once the kids are abducted and she goes to try to save the kids, it's a pretty straightforward chase movie at that point.
Yeah.
Save the kids and then try to run from the aliens and kill a bunch of aliens along the way and also have to deal with the human guy who's constantly fucking with them because
he is an asshole beyond reason.
This movie has the balls to kill one of the kids. Not the teenagers. It kills plenty of the teenagers. It has the balls to kill one of the little kids.
Yes. Holy crap. And he's killed by the boyfriend.
Yeah, the asshole boyfriend.
The asshole boyfriend is the one who kills him. Yep. You know, and you're like, whoa.
Yup.
Jesus, dude.
It's fucking, like, you're not expecting it.
No, you are not expecting that shit.
And he gets this really cool death scene because he's the character who does all the pyrotechnics for their movies.
Yeah.
And he was putting together a big finish for the final film that was going to be the big explosion that ends the movie. And he basically, on his deathbed, while he's dying in one of the other kids' arms, tells him to use the big finish, shove it up the alien spaceship asses.
And tell him Jackson.
Yeah, because the kid's name is Jack. And they do. They blow up.
Yeah.
Well, at least they think they blow up the spaceship.
Yeah. They do some damage. But it was just the whole thing of like, what do we do? I couldn't get away. We're never gonna see our friend again.
Yep.
What are we gonna do? Finish. What big finish?
Yeah. The second big spoiler in this movie is that one of the kids gets turned into a monster. Not the kids, but the teenagers.
One of the teenagers gets turned into a monster, yeah.
The one teenager that almost doesn't deserve it compared to the rest. He's forced to eat this fucking like green goo shit, and he turns into like a fucking Mortal Kombat creature. Like,
yeah, he turns into like Baraka and shit. You know?
And you're like, what the shit is this?
They melt one girl like using purple goo,
and according to the kids,
goo, fucking he turns this guy into a monster. Like what?
What the hell's going on?
What the hell's going on? You know?
And he's chasing the kids, but also chasing the asshole boyfriend because that guy was his friend and he abandoned him inside the spaceship. So he wants revenge, and of course ends up in a fucking fight with the chick with the sword. And it's pretty awesome. It's pretty great. And I guess there is one third spoiler, and that's basically the kind of end tease of this movie, because this movie ends with a very like Return of the Living Dead meets Night of the Living Dead ending, where like this caravan of soldiers show up.
It reminded me a lot of Carnosaur, actually.
Carnosaur. Yeah, that's another one. And then all the kids are like put into like cryostasis.
Yeah.
While the government like takes the sword and puts it in containers, and they're like covering up the entire incident while there's like a light shining in the sky indicating the spaceship's not dead yet.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's just where it ends.
That's where the movie ends, and you're like, I want to see where this goes next.
Yes, I would love to see a sequel to this.
Absolutely.
We didn't get that Night of the Creeps sequel that we deserved so long ago.
This movie is like if someone...
This
is like if J.J. Abrams was making Super 8 and decided instead of making it like Spielberg to make it like every Saturday morning cartoon mashed together.
Yeah, and by trauma.
And by trauma.
Yeah.
There's a lot of trauma moments. Yeah. Like the kid pissing in the fucking room was a very trauma moment.
Oh, man. Like, man, where would we be without trauma at this point?
Hell, what would we be without Hobo with a Shotgun?
Where would we be?
Like, you can actually trace it further back to Grindhouse, but Hobo with a Shotgun is interesting because most of the Grindhouse movies are trying to evoke the 70s. Hobo with a Shotgun was trying to do the 80s.
Yeah.
Or distinctly trying to do the 80s.
Yep.
A lot of the 80s nostalgia style movies and TV shows that we've gotten since then.
Inspired by Hobo with a Shotgun.
They all, like, they owe a lot to Hobo with a Shotgun.
Yeah.
I also should say some 80s stuff also owes a lot to Ty West and House of the Devil. That's another. Anyway, my fellow Gorehounds, Kids vs. Aliens is an utter blast. I highly recommend you go check it out. And please, please, please go check it out. I want them to greenlight Kids vs. Aliens 2.
Yes.
So badly. So badly. It can't be another 10 years before Jason Eisener does another film.
Yeah, no, it can't.
Like, and if you haven't seen some of the films we've talked about in this video, like Turbo Kid or Hobo with a Shotgun, what are you waiting for?
What are you doing?
Make it a triple feature. Trust me, you'll have a good time. And with that said, my fellow Gorehounds, where can they find you, Count Jackula?
Oh, you can find me on Twitch. I am Count_Jackula, and I stream on Wednesday evenings. You can also follow me on Twitter at Counting Jack. You're going to be rolling the dice on that one because it's Twitter. Where can they find you?
Y'all know me, I'm the Horror Guru. You can find me at the Horror Guru on Twitter, on Twitch, on Instagram, and Facebook. Just look up the Horror Guru or Blood Splattered Cinema and I'll be there. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to ring that notification bell so that you're notified of my videos immediately upon their upload. And if you'd like to help out either of us more directly, be sure to check out our Patreon pages. And remember, if you decide to go the Patreon route, even $1 a month can go a long way. And if you made it this far into the video, I want you to comment below, and be sure to comment below using the hashtag piss on the floor. Use the hashtag piss on the floor. That way I know. That way Jack knows. That way the whole world knows you watched this vlog all the way through and you have some nasty habits.
Yeah.
And with that said, my fellow Gorehounds, peace out, and I'll catch y'all later.